Good afternoon, everybody. There's Tilly. We're just going to go for a run over to Trundle and back via Bergen Gate. If I can get a word in. And warm up a bit, I guess. Had to start her up before, but that was a while ago. And it is winter. I keep forgetting to do a walk around. This is the old girl. She's in pretty ruddy state at the moment. 1988 Heritage Softail Evo motor. Seat needs recovering. There's actually a bloke down the road here who does it, so I'll get him to do it. Not sure whether you can hear anything over the sound of Tilly there. It's got cams, float heads, Super G, Screaming Eagle slash cuts, mate. Lockhart oil cooler, messy wiring. I'm gonna paint it. The motor's fine, you know. It's had a bit of a freshen up in recent times. Not long before Tim passed and gave it to me, you know. So give it a fresh paint job and all that stuff. Oh. Aye, that was clever. Hopefully nothing will fall apart, fall off, blow up, whatever. She needs a good run, charge the battery up and stuff. Afternoon, Uncle Tim. It's early afternoon anyway today. Actually, I wanted to go for a ride this morning, but too many chores, and then I noticed a couple of things I needed to do with this. Oops. Don't need to go around here first, do we? Settle down. beautiful winter's day, as you can see. 16th of June. Winter in Australia, of course. All you folks up north will be enjoying your summer now. You'll forgive me if I crawl along for a while, because I'm a bit paranoid about all the stuff that's going wrong with this bike. In recent times, I still don't really know 100%, you know, why that sprocket sheared off. So I'll probably stop up the road here and check it out. Make sure my nuts and bolts are tight enough. Make sure nothing weird's going on. I tell you, I could do with a bit more riding, that's for sure. Now, if we manage to get this to Trundle and home again in one piece, I'll start thinking about working on the BMW and get that going. Tilly, say old, you're not that old, 4 and a bit. She's already quite arthritic actually, which is sad. I don't know whether I've said that before on this channel or not. Presumably that's why the people wanted to get rid of her, because she'll be an expensive dog, you know, in the long run. She's quite stiff around the rear legs and stuff. So it's possible that it's arthritis, possible that it's hip dysplasia, or possibly both. Started her on some supplements, yeah. Tried one lot and they did nothing for her. I'm on another one now, which is like little pellets, and I guess it's fish oil and whatever else. And they've helped her a little bit, but not as much as I would like. So I'm going to have to keep investigating that and probably actually take her to a vet that I can't afford to take her to a vet and let them do all the crap they'll want to do, you know. Oh, we'll have to do scans and x-rays and this and that. Fairly obvious what it is, you know, one or two things, and both can be basically treated the same. But of course we can't tell doctors that or vets that, can we? Then they're not earning their money. Not that I'm I don't mean to be disrespectful of doctors and stuff, you know. Like everything, there are great ones and some that aren't so great. I always think of them as being like mechanics, you know. Some of them are really good, some of them are crap. That house down there, that house, where Bernie and Gay Dunn live. Now they've got a paddock, or a bit of land behind me somewhere, you know, up on the back hill there, and their son Tim also has a bit of land there and runs some some sheep and cattle apparently. And Bernie, Tim, the young bloke who's got the farm, you know, well, it's not a farm, it's adjusted land. He actually lives in Forbes. And so he doesn't get out here as often as he'd want to, I suppose. And just as well, she's a talky old thing, isn't it? Going round corners at 60 kilometres an hour in top. The bloody Triumph, you know, for all its massive torque, it wasn't comfortable in top gear under about 100 kilometres an hour. 60 mile an hour, you know. But at 120 kilometres an hour, it wasn't even doing 3 grand. It was like 2,800 on the tacho. Realistically, the Triumph had a usable rev range between 2 and 6, which is like an old Triumph twin. You know, it all happens in that sort of bottom to mid-range, and but it's a really useful 4,000 RPM. This is probably, well, I can't see myself ever wanting to rev this to 6 grand. Don't know whether it'd go that far. It's happy enough to just plod along, I'm sure. You know, you can do a lot more with it than I do, but I'm not really interested in with this bike. The BMW, on the other hand, will rev to about 9. 4 cylinders. It's a different kettle of fish, you know. If I want to go and thrash something, I'll thrash it. Got 2 spare engines. Plus gearboxes and all that. Into Skippy country. The bloke I know from Condoblin, a bloke named Peter, he's got some sort of twin cam Softail. I stopped one day, he was having trouble with it on the side of the road, and helping get it going again, and off he went, you know. So now he calls past every now and again, say hello, you know, just to make sure I'm still alive, sort of thing. And I don't know, he was saying the other day he hit a skippy at 2 in the afternoon. On his bike at Uther, which is just down the road from my place, on the way to Condo, about 10 k's, and he didn't come off, the lucky bastard. Yeah, but he was a bit surprised. And now, of course, and this is what happens when you hit wildlife, especially kangaroos, because they're so bloody random. You know, you just can't factor them in. You know, you can see one on the side of the road, and it might just stay there, or it might hop out in front of you. You know, or stop in the middle of the road, just bloody tie its shoelaces kind of thing. And yeah, like once you hit one, for the next 6 months kind of thing, you can see one behind every bush, you know. It makes you pretty paranoid. And that's where he's going through at the moment. And it's not a fun experience, that's for sure. I've never actually hit one on a solo bike. I've hit a skippy on my old BMW with the Sidecar, with the old passenger Bella, about 100 kilometres an hour. Luckily it wasn't much more than a Joey, and you know, having the Sidecar just makes it, you know, you've got a third wheel essentially. I mean, you know, lots of stuff can happen. You know, I know another bloke who hit one on his Ural and ended up losing his leg. The skippy must have got caught between, you know, him and the Sidecar or something like that. And yeah, that was bad news, as you can imagine. I was going to say the world's slowest trip to Trundle, but you know, my world's fastest trip to Trundle probably not much different than my world's slowest. Yeah, so there's a few BMW rides I want to go on in the near future, so I need to get that BMW sorted. Got a bloody cramp in the hip. No, that's old age and not being riding fit, you know, the little weird things that happen when you're not in the saddle all the time. This point that I realised that I probably should have put my jumper on. I've actually got long underpants on, so I'm hardly, you wouldn't call it cold. And it's about 15 degrees Celsius. I can remember when I was about 15, my brother Tim, who, as you know by now, I pretty much idolised, he was in the army. I was still at school and I was 15 years old. He came home from the army on his brand new 750 Bonneville, beautiful Cherokee and white 75, 76 T140V, and he said, I've got to go for a ride to run it in. He was in Brisbane at the time, so he'd ridden it from Brisbane down to the Central Coast, and I need to keep riding, run it in, you know. Could do 500 miles on it, whatever. And you want to come for a ride? And I said, hell yeah. I don't know whether it was, I don't think it was school holidays either. I think Mum just let me go, you know. I saw it as a good opportunity to, you know, for me to spend time with Tim, you know, so off we went. Now I was 15 years old and I was playing rugby league in winter, cricket in summer, you know. I was young and I was fit. And on this ride, on the back of the Triumph, which, okay, admittedly, the back of a 750 Bonneville is not the most comfortable place there ever was for a billion passenger. But anyway, like I was as fit as you can be at that age, you know. You're jumping out of your skin. and it took me like 1,000 kilometres. My thigh muscles and stuff to stop aching, because I was riding unfit and really tense, like I was hanging on. And it took me ages, you know, and I suddenly realised, oh, nothing hurts anymore. So I just relaxed into it. It's interesting that, you know, how that happened. Clearly I'm mumbling on today. When we get to Trundle, I'll put the mic in my pocket so you don't have to listen to me babble on the way home, you know. Doing that thing, you know, riding along going, what was that noise? What was that? What was that? I know I'm going to have to stop soon and just look at stuff, you know. I don't know whether I want to try and just get to Trundle first, or maybe stop and have a little run around where we stopped a while ago. It's one of the things actually about this area and the main roads around the area, like, you know, the new highway, Henry Park's Way, whatever, is that there are hardly any decent rest stops, as in like good shady spot with plenty of room away from the road so you can let the dog out and have a run around or whatever, you know. It's not great really. But the New England highways seem to have plenty. Maybe I just knew everywhere better. Knew the places that I could stop that were good for dogs, you know. And God knows we did that road often enough. Birds think it's a great idea to sit in the middle of the road. This may not be a bird. Well, it is a bird, but it's a dead bunny. Still, it's a valid question. Why do birds like to sit around the middle of the road? One of these, the next southern ride with the Beamer blokes, it's going to be to Tatra, not Tatra in the Czech countryside, mountains, the Tatra on the south coast of New South Wales. I haven't been there since about 1990 or 1991. I don't know why, I just never go that way, you know. And it's on the you know, It's a lovely spot actually. The last time I was there, said 1991, I was with Astrid, you know, the German chick, and we were just travelling around. I had a that was when I owned the Norton, and I also had a Datsun 260Z, which was a great car. I love that car. Now I was a young bloke. You know, that Nissan 6 was a good motor, you know. They ended up putting them in VL Commodores as well, actually. What do you reckon, Tilly? I think we'll keep going. So anyway, we did some travelling on the Norton, Astrid and I. Met up with my brother Tim at and places like that, and you know, did some camping and fishing and beer drinking and stuff with Tim. Anyway, at some point we end up in Telstra, which is, we would have been in the car. We stayed in a pub or something like that. And I don't remember much about it, except the water was really nice, and we went to this pub and saw the Divinals, whom I'd seen before but not for ages, you know. And I really turned into an old codger, haven't I? Riding along at 10 miles an hour, chatting away. It's a wonder I haven't got a white Bulls hat on. Should be given a Volvo for Christmas. Anyway, they were great, you know. Chrissy Amplet was great. I always forget the guitarist's name, but he's a good guitar player. I like the way he played. He had a nice Les Paul and played a really chunky sound with it, you know. Real sort of 80s, bit of delay, bit of reverb, bit of distortion sort of thing. Good, it was summertime, weather was hot, all that stuff. Crowded pub, beer. Arian, my goddess, is a girlfriend. What more could a young fellow want? Slowly coming into Trundle now. World's longest trip to Trundle, Tilly, eh? That's alright. Take another way home. Maybe build up a little bit of speed, who knows? Maybe we won't. I'm not, you know, I'm not trusting this bike a lot at the moment. It'll take a little while to build up a bit of trust in it again, providing nothing goes wrong. Call me paranoid, but just because I am paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get me. Anyway, it's a good day for a ride. It's much better when it's a little bit, it's better to be a little bit too cool on a bike than it's been stinking hot all the time. Oh, they've got a bit of tar on it, so we might go home that way. They can't find them, grind them, they reckon. Right, good girl, eh? Oh, you good pup, aren't you? You're a lovely girl. Oh, yes, you are. You're a lovely girl. Hey, stop there and wait. Got to do a couple of things in downtown Trundle. Then we'll head off somewhere else. Yes, we will. You wait there.